disappointed, it seems, as he says he's got those damned hands glued to his head. Well, what does he expect? That's what you're supposed to do to defend yourself.
Yeah, but what he's saying is he's not winging enough punches, so he's just fighting a defensive fight.
Roy Jones switching to a southpaw stance and loading up left-hand leads, and he lands a couple of them against Eric Lucas's chest. Lucas slowing down for a moment to pause and get a look at Jones in the southpaw stance. Generally speaking, when they're in the middle of the ring like this, Eric Lucas doesn't throw many punches. What'll the southpaw stance do for Jones here, George?
Well, for Lucas, it's important that he continue to do what he has been doing all the time. Let the other guy change up, but you stick. He's changing because you've done something to him that he doesn't like. So you stick to what you're doing, don't change. But because he doesn't have a record of many knockouts, I can't see why he's waiting for 1 or 2 punches. Lucas.
George, this guy's like a football team behind 35 to nothing at the half.
And running the ball.
And running the ball into the middle of the line.
Yeah, he's not trying to win the fight, I don't think.
He's trying to land a good shot.
George, the man's got 5 knockouts in over 20 fights. He doesn't have any good shots.
Sometimes you can't tell fighters that they don't have too many knockouts.
Apparently intent on fighting the whole round as a southpaw, but still leading mostly with the left. Now he considers switching back to his conventional stance and goes southpaw again.
He did not do it quick. Step 1 foot and then the other back. Normally he just skips it around.
Uppercut landed inside for Roy. Still landing a lot of punches here as round 8 continues. Right hand landed flush. Not landing with enough power to damage Eric Lucas and get him drunk.
He's making Lucas want to box this round.
Maybe Lucas's idea here is to break Roy Jones's hands on his jaw.
Give him a different picture. Okay. There you go. Hit him a lot more now. We in 8. We're going to 9 now. Going to 9th round. How you feel?
Harold Letterman through 8 rounds.
Way to work.
Give us your score, or do you have to give us your score?
Larry, I guess I got it the same way as everybody else. 8-0, 80-72, Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones has landed all those good shots. When he went southpaw, certainly he drilled Eric Lucas with really good straight left hands. Eric Lucas just is not throwing punches, and that's why he can't win around. But very interesting. Roy Jones Jr. fades into the corners a lot. I think he's doing it the rest, I'll be honest with you. The basketball game may have taken something out of him because he does get a rest when he goes into the corners.
That's when Lucas mounts what for him might be considered offense. Through 8 rounds, Jones landing 39% of his punches. That's a little bit down from the kind of connect percentage he has been flashing in recent fights. And Lucas has gotten it up to 25%. He's now landed 53 punches in 8 rounds, and that's almost 7 punches around, Larry. Stepping it up. Jones with a right hand over the top. Crowd getting restless. They had been programmed to expect a knockout. Lucas taking a lot of blows to the head, and when he lands, as he occasionally does, usually to the body.
Well, the tide has turned, and it's obvious now that Roy Jones is having a time with this. No longer a fight that Lucas can pull out.
So you've discovered to your satisfaction that Lucas doesn't have the offense or the punch to do anything with having tired Jones out.
I would have thought after the 7th round that he'd go out and try to get a knockout, but he just doesn't have the punch and the sting in his punches to deliver a quick knockout. So he's got to wait and let Jones recuperate whenever he wants, rest, and hit him.
Now, should Jones satisfy himself with the easy decision here, or is it an embarrassment to him if he doesn't score KO?
I really don't think Roy Jones can get a good, clean knockout. So now he's going to make himself not look so good, but he should just stick to his jab, occasionally throw a good right hand and look for a quick knockout.
All great fighters have been in the ring with opponents who just wouldn't go.
Said about Muhammad Ali early on and with George Chavello. He did everything he could. Chavello was there every round.
You know, guys, there's now a cut on the bridge of Lucas's nose. I think a case can be made that this is a fight that should be stopped. He's taking a terrible licking. He has no chance to win this fight that anybody could see. He's put up a brave front.
He's being asked if he wants to stop, but he's okay. Take the opportunity to stay. Take the opportunity to fight and punch anytime you can. When he comes right next to you, just push him back. He's giving you the chance. Just push him right back.
C'est correct. Reste bas, c'est correct. Mais repousse. Back. Next. Word up, Ty.
All right.
I think Yvonne Michel has to start thinking about how much he loves his fighter, how much he wants them to fight in the future. Just being able to say he went the distance with Roy Jones, I don't know if that's worth this. What are your thoughts on that, George?
Well, you're a fighter. You're being paid. You didn't want to be a professional fighter? Take it. Go into basketball full time. Sometimes you dance to the music, you got to pay the piper.
And now there is blood flowing from both nostrils, in addition to from the cut across the bridge of the nose. And Eric Lucas is distracted enough by that he's not throwing back, and Jones is landing continuously. And I think Brian Gary is starting to think that this might not be a bad stoppage. Got to admire Lucas's guts.
Keep it up, Eric.
We've seen a lot of French Canadian fighters, tough guys when they get down to the States.
If Lucas doesn't open it up now, it's never. You got to fight Lucas. You don't have a chance.
Now he's too slow, George. If he opens up and throws a lot of punches, he's just going to get raked. He's going to get ripped by Roy Jones because of the disparity in hand speed and Jones's counter-punching ability.
He's done everything he should have done, but nature just didn't give him a punch.
That's right.
To make this thing switch. Sometimes a referee has got to look at that and say, hey, I don't think this guy can pull it out. Boy, but he could get a knockdown here. Boy.
So you wouldn't mind seeing the stoppage either.
Not at all.
It's going to be called a slip. Blood flowing freely from Lucas's nostrils. Still a minute 15 to go in the round. The four fighters who went the distance with Roy Jones were James Toney, Jorge Castro, Bernard Hopkins. All of them dangerous, hard-punching, good throws. And Fermin Torino back in 1993, earlier in Jones's career.
I think it would do Jones better to fight more quality opponents.
Fascinating. I think you've got a point, George.
Lucas did a fine job as far as strategy was concerned. Just doesn't have that dynamite punch that he needs to turn the tide.
Oh, that's the best punch of the fight. That hard left hook to the lower jaw of Eric Lucas, and Lucas was rocked back on his heels by that one.
I think if Roy was sitting ringside with us, he'd be saying, stop this fight.
He sure would. He's a big advocate of safety stoppages.